The following is the procedure for public comment and participation. Individuals wishing to speak on agenda items must complete a sign-up card prior to the item being introduced. Those wishing to speak on quasi-judicial public hearings must complete a sign-up card and sign the oath. Sign-up and oath cards are available on the table. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions and requests from the public present. This opportunity is offered twice in the meeting, and individuals may speak at either the first or second petitions, but not both. No sign-up card is required. Citizens shall not comment on any issue more than once during the meeting. All comments except petitions and requests must address the pending issue, and citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on agenda items. Next, citizens wishing to speak on the consent agenda must submit a sign-up card identifying the items of interest. Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes to speak on the entire consent agenda. And finally, all sign-up cards and exhibits being submitted to the City Council shall be placed in the box on the table.
The purpose of the City Council meeting is to discuss city business, and proper decorum must be displayed by all in attendance. Public input and participation is encouraged. However, all persons in attendance shall comply with the rules for meeting procedures and shall refrain from any action that disrupts the orderly proceedings of the council meeting or hinders a council from performing its duties. No person shall interfere with the rights of others to speak, hear, see, or attend the proceedings, make threats of violence, disrupt the proceedings with shouting, fail to confine remarks to the agenda item under consideration, nor continue to speak after the allotted speaking time has expired, as these actions shall be considered disruptive and disorderly. The mayor shall caution any person who violates these provisions and disrupts the orderly proceedings of the council meetings, and they shall be directed to comply. Any person who fails to comply, as cautioned, shall be ruled out of order, shall forfeit the remainder of their speaking time on the agenda item under consideration, and will be requested to return to their seat. Persons who fail to comply as directed shall be subject to removal from the council chambers by law enforcement or such other actions as may be reasonably necessary to enforce these regulations. Notwithstanding, the mayor may order the immediate removal of any person from the chambers who possesses a threat to property or life safety. Nothing in this section shall be construed to limit or restrict a person's right created by the Constitution, law, ordinance, or regulation.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Titusville City Council regular meeting, December 9th, 2025 at 6:30. I'll call this meeting to order. For our invocation, I'd like to welcome up Pastor Paul from Calvary Chapel, Titusville, to give the invocation.
Well, it's a pleasure to pray over these meetings and for our community. I always like to start with something that Jesus said. It's a good place to start. These things I have spoken to you, says in the Gospel of John, while being present with you, but the Helper, the Holy Spirit, will come, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and bring you remembrance of all things that I said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So, Lord, as we come together as city and city council, as leaders and citizens, Lord, we just pray your Holy Spirit be the guiding tempo, the wisdom, the heart, and the peace. As things are discussed, as the decisions are made, Lord, we seek your wisdom. And Lord, we just seek your presence during this meeting. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. One housekeeping item for all those in attendance that wish to speak on item 9A, Gemini Lakes, aka Royal Oak. That item has been pulled from the agenda for the applicant's request, and they are going back to the community, and they will re-advertise when they're coming back before Planning and Zoning and City Council. So that item will not be heard this evening. Member Nelson, would you like to make a motion?
Move to approve the minutes of the City Council meetings on October 28th, November 11th, and the special meeting on November 13th, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. The next item is item 5, special recognitions and presentations. And 5A, the Employee of the Month for November 2025 could not make it, so we'd like to go ahead and reschedule that for the December or the January meeting, at which point we'll do both November and December's Employees of the Month. Moving on to 5B is the Titusville, Farmington, the Tifa LLC fiscal year 2026 budget and fiscal year 2027 pro forma projections. And we will have a presentation by the city's representative, Mr. Jim Ball.
Turn this on, right? Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, the entire TIFA budget in detail is included in your agenda packet, and we're going to be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the numbers in that. But the managers were interested in providing an update now that the well field's 10 years old, in full operation. We're beginning to see some new impacts on the operations and driving the budget that we'd like to be sure that you have some insight into. I'll start with just a few fast facts about Area 4, the Area 4 well field. Just as a refresher, Area 4 provides approximately 57% of Titusville's potable water demand, delivering up to 2.75 million gallons daily, drawing from the upper Floridan aquifer. It is the only well field that the city has as a source that is providing water from the Floridan aquifer. The other well fields are surficial aquifer. We have in Area 4 a total of 15 production wells. It's located in the northwest corner of Brevard County. The well field was constructed by the partners, and that is Titusville and Farmington, by the partners' shared investment. That is, that was 50-50. So TIFA was created in 2010 as the entity that would facilitate the permitting, design, construction, and operation of Area 4. Titusville Water Resources Department is responsible for day-to-day operations. The well field became fully operational in 2016. Phase 1 came online in 2012. Phase 2 was completed in 2016, which is when I came on board as your representative. The Area 4 well field operational influences, the things that we think it's important for you to have some insight into, is driven by the remote location largely. The remote location of Area 4 increases its vulnerability to FPL power outages. And we do have frequent outages, most of them very short in duration. But what's more of concern are the extended power outages that can occur in conjunction with storm events. Access for maintenance, monitoring, and standby power is significantly impeded during periods of high rainfall. We did a TIFA sustainability study to assess the risk to operations during power losses. And the outcome of that study just told us what we already had some knowledge about, and that's that continued reliance on the city's portable generators for backup power risks loss of all Area 4 water production during a storm event for a time that is indeterminate, depending on how long it is before FPL can restore power and how long it might be before city crews can get out to refuel the generators. Permanent on-site generators would ensure continuous power, improve safety for the city's crews and equipment, and reduce unnecessary operating costs. The age of the wells and pumping equipment is requiring replacement of critical parts, an increased level of preventative inspections and maintenance, and rehabilitation of wells as needed to ensure that they have sustainable flow rates that can let us meet the 2.75 million gallons a day. So just a couple of quick examples. We did this past year replace device on the oldest 6 wells that's intended to help regulate the amount of power those motors draw to get the most efficiency out of them as we can and keep electric power consumption as low as we can. Those were fabricated in-house by the city of Titusville and have been installed in the first 6 of the wells. We're going to continue that in the coming year and then beyond. We also replaced a component in the oldest 6 wells that were or we are going to be replacing in all the wells, a component in the control boxes that speaks back to the city's control center and provides the instrumentation for monitoring and control of the wells remotely. This coming year, and it's in the budget, will be video logging of the 7 wells in 2026, with the other 8 being done in 2027. That video logging will inspect the inside of the casings of the wells, will determine if there's been anything going on within the casing that is requiring some preventative maintenance or possibly even repair. So these are the kinds of things that are driving the budget. The highlights that we wanted to give you is that the TIFA managers have reviewed and approved an FY 2026 budget that's before you for your approval. It's based on a 5% increase in the rate per 1,000 gallons, going up from $1.29 per thousand to $1.35. This past FY 2025 budget and FY 26 are showing the largest increases we have seen in the 10-year period. Again, they're driven by the increase in maintenance and repair costs that are being incurred by the city as it operates TIFA. Those costs are all reimbursable by TIFA in the coming year after they're incurred. We're seeing the need to replace critical components and also to replenish components with spares so that we have them on hand if we have a failed component out in the field. The budget also includes what I'll go into a little more detail as a capital item is the purchase and installation of automatic transfer switches on 3 of the wells. These automatic transfer switches will function in conjunction with the portable generators, as long as we still have to use those 3, in order to automatically switch over from FPL power when it goes off to on-site power using the generators. In the absence of those devices, city crews have to go out, pre-stage the generators, and power them up well in advance of a storm's predicted impact on the area, because they won't be able to get out there once the storm, reaches a certain level. So you begin burning your fuel, you begin running the generators, and in fact, it might not have been necessary, depending on what happens with the storm, or you might run out sooner because you had to start them early. So the automatic transfer switches are an interim step to help reduce our risk on that. We are, as you'll see, we're going to recommend that we go to a system where we are going to have on-site generators. But we weren't prepared to present that to you yet in this year's budget. We also are anticipating an increase in the cost of property and liability insurance. That should be no surprise. It's happened every year. We're doing the best we can to keep a lid on that. We won't know what those rates are until April. And there's an anticipated increase in electrical power service by FPL. So the point of the chart here is from 2016, these first 10 years of full operation, the rate per 1,000 gallons has been pretty consistent. mostly driven by, some increase in electrical power cost and in property and liability insurance. But now you see in 2025, a 12% increase over the previous year, and the budget you have before you for 2026 is a 5% increase over 2025. One of the things that's in the budget for this year is a capital expenditure of not to exceed $60,000 to install those 3 switchgears. Most of the other things we've talked about, or component parts and such, are done under the operations and repair line of the budget. But the automatic switch gears are going to be a capital expenditure, and that'll be the first capital expenditure on the well fields since they were completed in 2016. That would be funded as called for in the Tifa LLC operating agreement for capital upgrades, replacements, or other permanent improvements, and folded into the existing base of the member funding that was required to construct Area 4, which was $11 million. The Tifa is developing detailed cost estimates to install on-site generators for 7 of our 15 wells. This was highly recommended and identified as the solution that is best, and really the only solution to the risk we're facing for extended power outages. Storms seem to be getting more intense. You never know. We were very fortunate this year, but we're one terrible storm away from losing the well field's production capability for some unknown amount of time. Now, the city can go to some emergency measures to make that up, but what we'd like to be able to do is install these generators on 7 of the wells and automatic switch gears so that they, like your home that may have a generator or something that goes from as soon as FPL power goes off, it cranks on the generator. We can have a larger amount of on-site storage of fuel, so there's not the concern that you're going to run out during the storm event. So since this risk reduction upgrade to Area 4 is going to require an additional capital investment from the partners, TIF expects to come back to you sometime later this year with a budget amendment request. So what you'll see in the 2027 pro forma, the caution on that number is that we expect that to probably go up for us to come back once we can present to you what the actual need is for that capital. The capital investment that will be made this year in 2026 is $60,000, which will be split between the partners, 30 from Titusville, 30 from Farmington. So the requested actions for the council will be to adopt the FY 2026 Tifa LLC budget, consent to the additional $60,000 capital contribution, shared 50-50 by the members, so that we can proceed with the installation of the 3 automatic transfer switches on 3 wells and authorize the mayor to execute the consent of members. Kevin's going to give you a couple of slides related to how Area 4 fits into the big picture of the city's water supply.
All right, so as Jim mentioned, this is just a recap of the last 12 months of our raw water supply. The fully city-owned wells in Area 2 and 3 supplied a little less than 730 million gallons last year, where Area 4 came in around 993 million gallons. So that was the breakdown between 57 and 42 for our raw water supply. And then just pushing that forward to our finished water, obviously Area 4 water gets treated by our water plant and distributed out. That pushes up to about 98% of our water was City of Titusville supplied between Tifa and Area 2 and 3 treated by the city, where 29 million gallons came from the city of Cocoa. We do have a standing agreement. We pay for 3 million gallons a month, whether we use it or not. We did come in under that. There's 2 months of the year we don't pull anything from Cocoa when they're dosing their system or we are dosing ours. We can't mix the water except in emergencies. So that's the differential why we fall below the 36 million gallons, but around 1.7 billion gallons produced of finished water between the two sources. So one of the TIF impact on our budget is we do get revenue back from TIFA. When we do our O&M, we generate a revenue back the year after, and then we also get a member distribution, which is a share of the TIFA money collected above a reserve of $500,000 is held by TIFA itself. So if you factor both of those in and including our TIFA water projections around 1.4 million, the effective rate drops to about 93 cents per 1,000 gallons when we factor in our two revenue sources. Also, just a note, the member distribution is reduced next year because that is the source of our share of the capital cost, is both members are going to reduce their profit sharing essentially to pay that instead of cutting a check to TIFA. And we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Cole.
My question is not particularly on your request, but on the generators. You said you were going to have generators for 7 of the wells. Is it possible to have a larger generator to do it? I don't know the economy of it, but I think generators are very important when you think that if our wells go out, we don't have any water. So I don't know if the proposal is for individual generators for each well, which I guess would provide us some redundancy. So we're talking about, and there's any idea what size generator we're talking about? Would it be the same size as a home generator? Because you're just doing a pump, right?
The generator would be sized to just that individual well. I
Right.
can't tell you exactly. I don't
Okay.
remember. I mean, we addressed it in our resiliency study.
Okay,
We did look at Florida Power and Light does offer, an opportunity, we thought, to get the generators and their maintenance and such through Florida Power and Light and just fold all that cost into
Right.
our operating budget. But they basically backed out of offering us that service.
Okay.
So we're looking at all the options. We're not ready yet to put it in front of you.
Okay.
But the reason for 7 is so that you can spread across the well field and different wells to fit in fulfill that gap. If power goes off, you might not need to run all 7 generators, but it gives you the option to go around. So you're not always using the same 3 wells with the portable
right,
generators.
thank you.
Member Moscoso.
Thank you. Mr. Ball, you're a volunteer, right?
I am.
Okay. I want to thank you. This is a lot, and so we appreciate all that you're doing. I do have a question. I know that the rate increase will be, obviously it's going to be passed on to the residents, and so I don't think it's a lot, but do you have a number of how much someone will see their bill increase due to the increased charge of the water?
I think Kevin's probably best to answer
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
we won't be changing the bill with this. We factored this budget already into our rate increases
Okay.
for this year, so there won't be any bill adjustment to this action.
Okay, wonderful.
yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, the raw water is a very, very, very small percentage of the city's total water resources budget.
Member Stokel.
Yes. Do we anticipate ever coming off of cocoa water? It's a small percentage, but I know we've had it for a while. I don't know what the plans are for the future.
So we've reduced it greatly over the years, but it does serve as an emergency backup, both from flow of water and shear pressure. So they have the ability to pressurize our system much higher than we currently run it. So in a fire situation where our tanks will be exhausted in a matter of hours, that extra pressure gives us an emergency backup. So we have discussed talking to them about removing the cap at 3 million and lowering it down to either pay as you go or something else. But
Okay, that's
it's
what
been
I was
years
curious
ago,
about.
it was almost 2 million gallons a day. So it is lowered to 3 million a month guaranteed to them. But recently they leveled all their wholesale customers to the same rate. So the rate advantages kind of decreased for everyone. We were a lower rate in the past. Now we're level to all their wholesale customers.
Okay, and then, so we should anticipate a budget amendment coming before us. This is probably a loaded question. Do you feel like that with that budget amendment, we should be okay for this well field to make sure, as you mentioned, like the storms are increasing, get applications for water capacity? I just want to make sure that we're in a good position moving forward.
The whole purpose of the resiliency study was to look for the best solution to make sure that that well field can continue to operate regardless of what happens with FP&L power, or the inability for our vehicles to get out there because, you know, it's so saturated, they bog down, and you just can't get to the generators to replenish them. So yes, we feel very comfortable that if we do the capital program to install 7 on-site generators and storage of the fuel for them, that we'll be in a really strong position, and it'll eliminate a lot of risk.
Okay, thank
But
you.
we can't tell you what that cost is going to be until we couldn't throw any numbers at it yet.
All righty. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate it.
Okay, sure thing.
City manager, just point of clarification, they were asking us to approve some stuff, but it says no action is requested. Are we approving?
You'll be approving it as part of consent.
Okay, got it. Is there any cards on this item? Okay, I was just confirming. All right, thank you very much. City manager.
So moving on to the next item is item 6, boards and commissions. And 6A is the North Brevard County Hospital Board. And the recommended action is to reappoint 1 regular member to the North Brevard County Hospital District Board for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029. And also to confirm 1 member appointed by the Brevard County Board of County Commissioners to the North Brevard County Hospital District Board for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029. The term of regular member William Billy Speck expires on December 31st, 2025, and he has expressed his willingness and desire to continue to serve on this board for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029. Currently, there are no other applications on file for consideration. In addition, Ms. Billy Fitzgerald was reappointed by the Brevard County Board of County Commissioners on November 18th, 2025, for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029. And this appointment is subject to confirmation by the City Council.
Thank you very much, city manager. City clerk.
Yes, sir. We have a few cards. Stan Johnston.
My name is Stan Johnston, and I'm licensed by the state as a professional engineer to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the people, similar to what our hospital is to do. However, I have approached the board of directors of the hospital repeatedly, and I'm very disappointed in what happened. It's all I asked was for them to support the city to turn off the fountains where people were being sprayed with sewage or piss and poop, however you want to do it. And I never got any response, except I got a ridiculous response from Mr. George Mkhitaryan, who's here in the audience. Here's what he said. He said, Stan, we don't have to do that because all you have to do to go is like the County Health Department, St. Johns River Water Management District, FDEP or something. You should be going to them, not to us. He never discussed it with me because I've been to all those sources, and they never would help me. So in other words, I'm disappointed with our hospital, who's so arrogant enough that they can't even ask our water resources to turn off the fountains in which I've repeatedly said that the city of Titusville is the only city on this planet that deliberately sprayed women, children, and babies with piss and poop. And it's not a joke at all. As a professional in health, safety, and welfare, it's nonsense. It should have never happened from our hospital to do that. So I'm not for any of this reappointing anybody because all I've got is nonsense from the hospital. And then I was told to leave not only the hospital but even the parking lot. And the guy told me, he said, "This is not a public hospital. This is a private hospital." A security guy. So I'm not pleased with what Mr. Mkhitaryan is doing and the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. City clerk.
Joseph Ash.
Good evening. I'm Joseph Ash. I'm a cardiologist here in town. Parish Medical Center, whether you know it or not, is a one-star hospital. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services does a yearly survey of hospitals in the country. And in 2018, Parish had a 3-star out of 5 rating. For the next 2 years, they had a 1-star rating. That's poor. For 4 years, they had 2 stars, but now back in 2025, they are back to 1 star. They can say whatever they want about all their awards and all the accolades that they receive from private institutions. The federal government's best benchmarks show that they are a 1-star hospital. They get 2 stars on patient satisfaction. This is not acceptable. And the reason is because they have an entrenched board of directors. They have directors who have been there for decades. Of the 3 city appointments, one has been there for 26 years and another has been there for 24 years. That's Billy Fitzgerald, who is up for confirmation by this board because the county commission decided to move her on and keep her in place. You keep getting the same people on the board, managing the administration, and you will get the same results over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, in 6 of the last 8 years, Parish has lost money on operations. 6 of 8 years. They've received $36 million in COVID money, which has helped keep them in operations. And they also have returns on investment, but their actual lifeblood operations, 6 out of 8 years, they don't make money. There needs to be a change in the board. There needs to be new people on the board, and there need to be new people running the hospital. I'm not the only one who thinks that. When I applied at the county commission, I received very easily over 100 petition signatures from residents over the course of 1 to 2 weeks of trying to get signatures. The residents of this community, many love the hospital. God bless them. They're entitled to their opinion. Many people are not happy with the hospital, and the only way to change the hospital is to change the board. This council has the ability to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Milton Farrow.
Good evening, everybody. Milton Farrow, 4430 Elliott Avenue, Titusville, Florida. I don't want to be repetitious. I agree with what the last speaker said. I'm going to go one step further and say I not only agree with it, but I'm here by luck being alive because I was almost lost in this hospital. I had 6 bad occurrences. And it wasn't for the fact that anyone was doing anything wrong. It was a question of management. We've been having bad management for a long time. In the real world, we don't reward bad work. Bad workers are not kept on. People who don't perform are not kept on. Okay, so it is not I just don't understand why we would want to continue keeping the same people on when we've had this kind of poor performance. And this goes for the director as well. It is unheard of in annals of hospital administration that an administrator earns more than the President of the United States. And maybe we ought to expose this to daylight so we can let the people know what's going on. I'm going to ask this council to deny this request and to go against the Brevard Commission, which did us an injustice. The Brevard Commission heard every individual in this city. My last procedure that I had, I was compelled to travel many miles away because I didn't want to come back in a coffin. Do not honor this request. Please change your direction. Continuity to continue bad behavior is wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. City Clerk? I can't hear you. No more cards. City Council? Member
You're on.
Moscoso?
Yeah, I would just like to say, I am very much for term limits on these boards. We have people serving, and I would agree 20 years and I think there is something to say about experience. I know Mr. Speck has only been on for 4 years, and I think it'd be good for him to continue. Ms. Fitzgerald has been on for quite a long time, and I know from the county commission there were a lot of applicants, many who were qualified as well, and so. I do think there is something to say for experience, but there's also something to say for new people coming on with different ideas.
Member Nelson?
Mr. Mkhitaryan is here. I think we should let him speak if he wants to. No. I tend to agree with Megan that some of the people that have been on board have been there forever. I think Billy has only been there for a couple of years, if I remember right.
Can I just point of order? This is going to get real confusing because they're both named Billy.
Oh,
Can we
two
just
Billy.
use their last name,
Okay.
please?
I think Mr. Speck has only been there for a couple of years, 5 years, 4 years. But I do think that periodically we do need to change it up because it allows people to come in, ask different questions, try to figure out if there are other things that can be done. So I tend to agree with you.
Vice Mayor Cole?
I do agree with the term limits, although I'm one that's been on the board for 25 years, so. But my point to this is if people want to be on the board, they have to apply. I mean, if no one applies, as Billy Speck has for our appointment, we have no other to pull from. So, people can talk about how we should look at the individual board appointments. While I don't disagree that we need to have term limits on them, if no one applies for them, our hands are tied as far as what we could do. So, if you have good people that want to be on the board, they have to apply to be on the board. So, that's it.
Member Nelson?
So question, were there multiple candidates for the county position? County seat?
I'm not aware if
There were 6.
There were 6?
That was for 2 positions.
Oh, okay.
For 2, yeah.
So my thought would be to affirm Billy Speck and potentially Billy Fitzgerald ask for a different person.
She was.
Affirm Billy Speck. I'm sorry.
I was going to clarify for him.
Okay.
Confirm Speck, reject Fitzgerald was Member Nelson's viewpoint, but no motion has been made at this point.
And I feel bad. I love her as a person, but I think it would be good to have new blood.
But I don't
Thank you, Member
know.
Nelson. Vice Mayor Cole, hold on a second. Member Stokel has her light up.
Yeah, I have a clarifying question. There were 2 spots that the county was appointing for, and we're getting 1, so how does that work?
So it's a 9-person board. 3,
Okay.
the county appoints independently.
That don't come
3,
before us.
we appoint,
Okay.
and 3, the county appoints with our confirmation.
Okay,
So while there was 6 spots, potentially 6 applications that the county reviewed, there was 2 spots that they were technically appointing for. 1 needed our confirmation.
okay. And then I tend to agree with Member Nelson. If I say we let Billy get back on there, and then maybe we look at something with our code to see about term limits for some of these boards moving forward.
As I believe that this is probably big in our local agreement, I'm sure we'd have to have the county support on that. So maybe during our reports later today, we can discuss that with the city manager and what that could look like in terms of communication with the county. Vice Mayor Cole.
Well, just to reiterate something that Jolynn said, we're confirming so if we do not appoint Billy, we've got to go back to the county commission to do that. I'm not sure. I agree with Councilperson Stokel that we approve Billy, but we do look at the term
Billy
limits.
Speck.
Yeah.
Can you
I mean,
please use
yes.
last names because I don't know which ones you're talking about.
That we approve Billy Fitzgerald and Billy Speck, but we do look at the term limits. I think Mr. McAtarian wanted to say something.
I'll call on Mr. McTerry in a second. Member Nelson?
Okay, I can deal with that. I am concerned because Billy has been on that board forever. And I would like to see us get some younger, newer people, younger than us.
Us. Oh, you put, okay, you and me.
Okay, younger than Herman.
That's a low bar. All right. Mr. McTerry, did you have something you'd like to add?
Good evening. Couple points of clarification. The appointment/reappointment process is not a local ordinance, it is a state law. The appointment and reappointment of members of the North Brevard County Hospital District is outlined in the hospital's enabling legislation and has been that way for 22 years. So to change it requires legislative action in Tallahassee. Two, up until this year, there have not been any applicants other than one for each of the positions since 2001. So these people, rather than being condemned for serving long tenures on the hospital board, should be patted on the back because they have been the only ones since 2001 to step up. Now, of the 3 board reappointments, one individual, Maureen Roop, did retire from the board, and she was replaced by what you all appear to be categorizing as a younger board member, Melissa Lugo, and that left the other 2 that the county commission, one made recommendation to you, and that's Miss Billy Fitzgerald, who has been on the board for 20 plus years, brings a wealth of knowledge as well as her experience with the Housing Authority. And again, this is the first year that there has been another applicant for the same position. And then Mr. Billy Specht, as we have already heard from the city manager, is the only candidate for the position. So while everybody throws out these great ideas, change people, they've been on too long, why don't we pat these folks on the back and say thanks? I know it's hard for both the city, all the cities, as well as the county, to find people that want to volunteer their time and attention and talent to boards and advisory boards and commissions. So again, first year since 2001 that we have had multiple candidates. And I can go through all those candidates and give you all my wealth of knowledge and 40 plus years of healthcare experience and tell you why they are not qualified, including one individual who stood up here just a few minutes ago. Be happy to do that, although I don't think he would want us to try to ruin even further than he has already his physician practice here in town. But I would love to have the time, if you give it to me, to tell you why the others don't qualify.
I appreciate it, Mr. McIntyre, but I think that'll be good.
Yep.
And thank you for clarifying the Florida statute because, again, I know it's our hospital, it's a public hospital, North Brevard Hospital District, and we kind of work together between the city and county to do those type of things. So obviously, state legislation is a little much harder to change. With that being said, we, as a board, only have one applicant, okay? The county commission had possibly several, and the county commission decided on that person. So that's really what's on the table, is whether we confirm or deny that person. Member Nelson.
I would say Mr. McTerrian has a point, because if people complain all they want, but if they're not willing to step up, it's a problem. So my motion would be to reappoint Billy Speck as a regular member to the Hospital District Board for a new 4-year term, and confirm Billy Fitzgerald to the North Brevard County Hospital District Board for a new 4-year term, and say that we appreciate them serving, because the rest of us aren't going to serve. Bless them for serving.
Sorry, a point of clarification, can we do two motions?
Well, the motion is on the floor, so it depends on if it gets a second. Is there a second?
Second.
So there's a motion and a second. Now for discussion, what's your recommendation? be?
Yeah, I feel like those are two separate appointments. One is to confirm it, and one is to reappoint. And so I think they should be two different motions.
Well, the motion is made. It depends on if the motioner is going to decide to change it or not.
I don't have a problem with changing it to confirm Billy Speck. That would be the first motion.
So I'll second that.
All right, so I have a motion, and I have a second. Any further discussion on the motion to reappoint Mr. Speck to the North Brevard Hospital District Board? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And then the second motion would be to affirm the appointment of Billy Fitzgerald to the hospital board.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion? Member Stokel, did you have further discussion?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'll be voting in favor of this, and I do know Billy Fitzgerald. I think she does a great job, and I think, as Mr. McAterian brought up, I think if our desire is to have newer people or younger people, I don't like to necessarily use the term younger, but give other people a chance to get involved, I think that really does rely on us to kind of go out there and try to see if there's a willingness. But I mean, since 2001, if there haven't been applications, I understand that side as well, so.
And I think I'm sorry.
Member Nelson?
Sorry about that. And I think it goes back to when we started and we had no applications for any board. And we had to go out and beat the bushes and ask people to apply. So maybe that's what we need to do again.
We still had the one application. So, Member Moscoso?
I would agree on the city side, we only had one application, but maybe there haven't been applications since 2001. In the county, this year, there were 5 other applications beside Miss Billy Fitzgerald. And I think Miss Fitzgerald is wonderful. So there were other applications. I don't want that to be lost in this conversation. So perhaps previously there weren't, this time there actually were.
Unfortunately, maybe to your chagrin, the county chose this person, and that's what we have it before us, is to confirm or deny. City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sorry. Member Moscoso?
No.
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Mayor Connors?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cole?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. City Manager.
Next item is 6B, the North Brevard Commission on Parks and Recreation. And the recommended action is to appoint one regular member to the North Brevard Commission on Parks and Recreation with an unexpired term to expire on August 31st, 2027. There's currently a vacancy for an unexpired term. There is one application on file for consideration. Ms. Laura Witten has expressed her willingness and desire to serve on this board, and she is currently serving as a regular member on the Space Coast Transportation Planning Organization Citizens Advisory Board, and she is here to answer any questions.
Member Stokel, do you have something before I
Yeah,
went to the
just
cards?
a question regarding the process. Is this one of the situations where she cannot be on two boards? So if we do appoint her, she would have to give up her position on the other board?
Member Stokel, if I may, these are the boards she currently serves on as a county board. And this is also a county board, so it's not, our policy is more city board.
But I don't know what the county rules are. I just want to make sure before we do it that we're not breaking
For the
any.
most part, the difference is that she serves on an advisory board, which would be the transportation board is considered an advisory board, and that would not be in conflict with the Parks and Rec board.
Okay, great, thank you.
And the TPO is kind of treated differently anyway. It's kind of like outside Brevard County government in a way. It's kind of weird. All right, Ms. Laura, would you like to come up and say anything? Okay, City Clerk, are there any cards?
One card, Stan Johnston.
Stan.
Stan Johnston.
Laura here? Okay, thank you. All right. I'm Stan Johnston, and I'm very concerned about what's going on. I had someone approach me. This has got to do with what's going on. Approached me Friday and said, Stan, this is a big joke what you're doing. You're just a joke. And this is a good friend of mine. He said, you know, nobody listens to you. I said, listened to you for years about what's going on, about spraying people in our public parks with what I call sewage. It's just not happening. It never happened. It just so happens someone came to this council meeting in November and said, hey, you know what? I had a sewage spill on Bell Terrace. Guess where Bell Terrace goes? Bell Terrace goes right to the senior center with the fountain turns on. So,
Mr. Johnson, you're not on topic.
this has to do with what is going on. Please don't interrupt me on this, because the senior center is part of North Brevard Parks and Recreation. It is property on Brevard County.
You're cautioned.
Pardon?
You're cautioned for being off topic.
Okay, so what happened was the fountains were turned on, and we had another example of spraying people with sewage. We had it again. And it was I and Laura Lee and other witnesses and my wife were there. So I want her, if she is going to go along with leaving the fountains turned on, like a number of people are doing, I don't want her there. I want some commitment from her, or else she doesn't have my support. And I know that you are very much against what I said. And some other people say, you know, it's just a joke. It's not a joke as far as my profession is, professional engineering. I'm supposed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the people, and I think you guys are too. And right now, 4 council members are against what I say. Only Megan Moscoso is in agreement with me. Only person. So that's all I had to share with you. I don't want another person who's going to allow the leaving the fountains turned on when we know there's a sewage spill. Thank you, in the ponds. Thank you. That's all.
Well, back to the matter at hand of appointing Laura to the Commission on Parks and Recreation. Member Nelson?
Can I move to appoint Laura Whitten to the North Brevard Commission on Parks and Rec?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion from this board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. City Manager, I believe we're on petitions and requests, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, petitions and requests from the public, non-agenda items.
This is Stan Johnson. I'm going to say the same thing I said at the last meeting. But however, we have some guests here in the back. You can raise your hand. Stephen, Mary, and Richard. Raise your hand. Okay. They've had their houses flooded at least 3 times since we've built this new dam. And it's pretty serious, and they've even lost cars because of the damages they've done. And it's what I've shared just the last meeting. I shared it. This is not God's fault. This is not the rainfall fault. It's the matter of the city of Titusville has built these dams. These dams not only destroy houses and your insurance and your ability to have your homestead not flooded or your cars destroyed, is that we even have in Baker's subdivision destruction of the pavement. You raise the water table, you destroy the pavement, you cause erosion of the banks on lakefront properties, Lake Morbeca. And this is millions of dollars that the city is guilty of. And so I asked the question, same question was asked 40 years ago, same question. And the question is this, is that how can anyone legally construct a dam immediately downstream of homes already in the 100-year floodplain? And of course, the answer that was started in 1985 by council, they never got an answer. They asked the question, they never got the answer. That's the same thing that's happening here. I don't get an answer from any PE. And I'm telling you again so I'm offering the city. I offered St. John's today, St. John's River Water Management District. I offered them $1,000. You get any one of your PEs to dispute me, and by golly, I'll give you $1,000. Otherwise, I also know it's not a threat, but it's a promise that I will report them to the Florida Board of Professional Engineers for disciplinary action. Same here. You can't get Kevin Cook or anybody else to disagree with me on this, any PE. What I'm saying is what you're doing is exactly what I've said before. This is what? This is an admission of guilt. An admission of guilt of millions of dollars that the city has already spent, and millions of dollars of liability to the city is what you guys think that you're protecting the people. Well, this is supposed to be, city is supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Instead, right here in this government, we have a government of the city, by the city, and for the city. And you guys are protecting them from dirty lies that have been happening for 40 years. It's not right. It's not right at all. Okay, Stephen wants to begin talking, and then Richard, please raise the sign. Raise the sign. Okay. There's the sign. There's four dams on this side.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Stephen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Hansel. I'm here to tell you what's going on in my place. Titusville, down on Temple Drive. Stan came up to us the other day and he told us he's going to come here and tell you all what's going on.
Mr. Johnson, please don't interrupt.
Can you hear me now? Yes. Sorry. Thank you. All right. My name is Stephen Hansel. I've been through 3 floods, and with what he's talking about with the sewage and crap, that's actually legit. It was on the news. You can look it up. They told us not to go outside, don't walk in it. It's toxic. It killed all the fish in our pond in the back. What I found out is the elder's home, little ways down the street, was pumping their stuff into ours after we're already flooded, which raised our water level up 6 inches. I mean, we already have knee-deep water, and it just keeps on getting higher and higher and higher because they keep on pumping their crap into our streets. It killed all the fish. It stunk up the area. The whole neighborhood smelled for months. I lost $30,000 something in damage. 2 cars. My neighbor lost 2 cars. And I'm sure he's got $30,000 in damage too. It's got to stop. You got to shut this. You got to take this. Whatever the hell they built there is not doing their job. It's not draining the water. It's actually collecting, and it doesn't seep into the ground. It just stays and floods. Every time it rains, heavy storm, it just gets bad and bad and bad. We're tired of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Petitions and requests from the public present? Oh, we'll do it after everybody finishes.
My name's Richard Austin.
Sir, can you please keep your sign in the back per our rules?
I'm sorry?
Can you please keep the sign in the back per our rules?
Okay,
Thank you.
we don't really need it. I was just gonna show you where Stephen was talking about. I'm kind of unofficially representing the rest of the community. But I've lived in this community for quite a while, and when I found out that they were making the retention pond, I just, watched as they did everything. The biggest discrepancy that I saw was the fact that they actually did build dams up 6 to 8 feet more than what was there. We used to have a really good, I'll call it a canal, but it was a nice deep drainage that always took care of the rain. And when they built the pond, they actually dammed it up approximately 8 feet higher than what the drainage ditch was, the original drainage ditch was. And so, that's pretty substantial. And basically, from basically where the sheriff's office is and the senior citizens area up there, that was also reinforced, basically made it the ponds higher before they could start draining. Well, the biggest problem with all of that is when we get more than 4 or 5 inches of rain, it doesn't drain quick enough to get rid of all the water. What happens is in the ponds drain on 2 right-of-ways into our community. And we've got a few minor sinkholes going on right now. But as far as damage goes, unfortunately, my insurance company left the state. And it's been really difficult to get any other insurance because my house was built according to insurance standards before 1960. Happens to be 1959. But so unfortunately for that reason, even though I'm still trying to get insurance, I've lost, I'm gonna conservatively guess $30,000, and that's just in material. That's not included with all my labor, where I've had to cut out and dig out stuff and throw a lot of equipment away.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're okay with that?
Your time's up, so I gotta
Okay,
ask you.
fine. I just want to let you know that the dams should be, and I recommended it when they were building it, that they be lower. Get it closer to what the original drainage system was.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Kevin or Sandy, am I calling you? Can you answer their concerns? Excuse me, one second.
So we can review the individual homes with the model data that was provided. The consultant did a pre-post evaluation of the entire infrastructure in the area as part of the LOMR, the letter map revision for FEMA floodplain revisions. In that, they showed negligible changes to the flood surfaces of the area. So this is a floodplain area, so they modeled it out to the 100-year storm. And they demonstrated multiple points along the system, all the way back all the way downstream on the Bloody Mary ditch, what they deemed to be a negligible change to the floodplain. And they issued a new map of floodplains. So Temple Drive is a floodplain at 15.3 feet. it will flood in the 100-year storm to that elevation by the models developed by our consultant. Baker subdivision will flood at 17 and change in the same storm event. So yes, there is an upper pool and a lower pool. They are both floodplains in two different areas. But what FEMA determined in the LOMA request was that the projects did not significantly change the floodplains. They were negligible, less than a few inches, and different variations upon the flood area. And they did a model of the entire basin. But we certainly can take a look at individual problems. It could be a problem with pipe, the road drainage, things of that nature that we can take a look at.
We do have the St. John's Basin feasibility study that is working through right now, and this area is part of that. That's looking at reducing water that's flowing through that area to the Indian River Lagoon, along with historic flooding in that area. So that we're expecting in about take another 12 months to get that feasibility study complete, but it is in the works right now.
Thank you, staff. Member Moscoso.
Thank you. And I will just to let you know, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Cook, we met this past week, and we actually went over this card because I was trying to understand the dams. I'm not an engineer, so it says there's 4 dams, and so we were asking where are the dams, and one of the requests that I had is if Mr. Johnson could give us his recommendations. And so he has done that. He has sent it in, and that's something I'm going to sit down with Kevin. So it's not that we have ignored this. I'm still learning how this works. But I think it is something we are discussing. So I think they'll look at your individual problem, but we also are going to look at this as well.
All right, petitions and requests from the public.
Dr. Kathleen O'Rourke, Titusville resident. Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I'm here on the behalf of Royal Oak neighbors. At last week's Planning and Zoning meeting, Attorney Kim Rozenka tabled the Gemini Lakes proposal, saying she wanted more time for citizen input. I understand the project is not up for a vote tonight and will be delayed until January. So I want to be clear, I'm not here to argue the merits of the development. That properly belongs in a future hearing. My purpose tonight is to alert the city to a more immediate concern. The applicant is distributing false and misleading information to the public and has continued to do so even after being notified of such. Residents received a postcard directing them to the Gemini Lakes website. However, most members of the Royal Oak Neighbors Board, the group best positioned to mobilize meaningful citizen input, did not receive it. Those who did visit the website saw misleading images and misleading statements accompanied by an almost unreadable disclaimer. These statements do not match the current proposal which was submitted by the developer. At the Planning and Zoning meeting, I specifically requested that the website be taken down until the information was corrected. As of today, that website remains active and the misleading information is still posted. After my comments, Ms. Rozenka contacted me not to correct the record, but to ask I provide a list of the false statements. Let me be clear. Identifying and correcting misinformation is not the responsibility of the private citizen. It's the responsibility of the applicant and their professional team, and these are not subtle misinformation. The key point I want to emphasize is the developer knew the website contained misleading information and they left it up anyhow. Leaving misinformation in place is not an oversight, it is a choice, and it undermines trust in the public process. Leaving misinformation up also subverts the quasi-judicial process under which this council must ultimately vote on the proposal. And given that their builder, Colton Homes, previously paid $22.5 million to settle construction defects claims, transparency should be the minimum expectation. Because of the extent of it, I request that the Gemini Lakes site be taken down immediately until every statement is verified by the staff, further review of the project be delayed until the website is corrected, and then have the developer conduct a public information campaign to provide accurate information and acknowledge the private content was misleading. Thank you for your time and attention. I respectfully request this statement be entered into the official record, and I have copies for all of you on the website, all of you with the website written on the bottom so you can look at it yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from petitions or requests from the public, non-agenda items?
Good evening, Mayor Connors, Vice Mayor Cole, council members. My name is Steve Kane. I'm Executive Director of Space Tech Partners Incorporated. We're a nonprofit corporation headquartered here in the city of Titusville. My wife Linda and I have lived here for 37 years. I spent 27 years on the shuttle program at the Space Center. 25 of those were here in Florida. And I have since taken a position at Space Tech where I've been for the past 14 years. My wife retired from the Florida Department of Corrections after 29 years. We raised 5 kids here. All went through local schools. I've taught at Eastern Florida State College for 10 years in their aerospace program as an adjunct instructor. And in 2017, Space Tech began development of the Space Coast Consortium Apprenticeship Program with some employer sponsors that you may know, a Knights Armament Company, Airbus, OneWeb Satellites, RAG Space, which is now Beyond Gravity, Rocket Crafters, which is now Via Space. And I've provided you with a presentation that I actually have a thumb drive too. I can put it up if you'd like, but I can walk you through this. The apprenticeship that we run has 14 participating employers, and we are now the Space Coast ADTC. We've leveraged the work that we did in the apprenticeship to create this training center now that is in the city of Titusville. And I'd like to walk you through this program for what we've created. I'm also joined by my operations program manager, Mr. Tom McCullough. He's here as well.
Sir, can I just interject for a second?
Yes.
Everybody gets 3 minutes during this time, and I'm afraid you're going to run out of time. Is there a particular ask you have
Yes.
of this board?
There is. If you will open to the 3rd page, actually the 4th page. Our ask is we're seeking support from the city of Titusville in the form of an economic development incentive grant for the Space Coast ADTC. This funding is necessary to meet a feature of the $1.5 million grant we received from the Florida legislature in 2023. The feature requires $700,000 in matching funds for that grant. The North Brevard Economic Development Zone provided $500,000 of that. And we also have a request into, it's called the Industrial Base Analysis and Sustainment Group within the U.S. Army for the additional $3 million match that the grant requires from the federal government. These city funds would be earmarked for training equipment financing costs over a period of 3 years. And I'll add that the county grant that we received is a 3-year grant as well. It's a reimbursable grant. And a portion of that would also be used for renovation and build-out costs that weren't covered in the original Florida Commerce Grant. So that's my purpose of coming before you today.
Well, really appreciate you. Obviously, I've been out there for your ribbon cutting. You know, I think what you guys are doing is great. We're still working on fine-tuning our economic development incentive program, so I would just recommend get with Nick and go through the process.
All right,
But we're
will
still
do.
building the process, so you got to bear with us a little bit. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I've talked to Mr. Gow, and I'm familiar with what's going on with that. So, all
Thank you.
right, thank you.
Oh, Siri tried to chime in.
Oops, I forgot your card. Vicki Conklin, I'd like to have clarification. I understood you say that the item had been pulled about Gemini Lakes in the Royal Oak Golf Course. I'd like clarification of what that means. Does that mean it's tabled, or does that mean it's totally withdrawn? And I know you don't want to answer me, but
I'll tell
maybe
you.
somebody
Yeah.
can. We
It
need
was
clarification.
pulled, and they're going to find a new date and re-advertise it to the community and pay for those new re-advertising costs.
Okay, because it's been very confusing, and probably, I hate to think that the developer's doing it on purpose, but originally it was to be November, then it was to be December, then it was to be January, and a lot of confusion with the public about this plan. This meeting tonight was advertised as a public hearing, and so does it require council to table or just accept the withdrawal, accept the pulling? I'm not sure. That, I guess, is your council's. So is there clarification that it will be on the agenda to be voted on January 7th, P&Z, and January 13th for City Council? Or do we know that yet?
City Manager.
Mayor, the applicant indicated February 10th would be the hearing.
They also indicated withdrawing the application completely to be rescheduled, so that includes the P&Z meeting. So they indicated they would like to have that rescheduled for the 21st of February.
So yeah, they're just kicking the can down the road, and whenever they stick it back on there, we'll make them re-advertise it and communicate with the public.
So just to make sure I understood what you said, Brad, so are we saying the first Wednesday in February, P and Z, and the second Tuesday, City Council?
Their request was to withdraw the application so they can reschedule it for what they stated to be the second meeting in January for P&Z, the Planning and Zoning Commission, on January 21st, and then the first meeting for City Council in February.
Okay.
Just February
Well,
10th.
thank you, because we didn't know any of that. How are we supposed to find that out? I'm not sure, but,
When it's advertised and noticed.
so we
so
just
they will-
wait and, okay. And that seems to be a very confusing way to communicate with the residents. Thank you.
I understand they are going to schedule a community meeting as well.
And I'm pretty sure they sent an email like at 1 o'clock today informing us of that.
Correct, we just got the
Yes.
email request today.
Very hard for us to communicate when we just find out ourselves. Anybody else from the petitions and requests from the public, non-agenda items?
Can I ask a clarifying question with that?
Yes.
Brad, can you clarify how much notice does an applicant have to give? Like in advance, is it 2 weeks? And the reason why, and I understand the frustration because I know that there have been posters made, yard signs made with these dates, and now I know it's costing a financial burden to this group. So can you clarify what that requirement is?
What do you mean by notice? For the applicant to
Yeah,
provide
so
notice of change?
how do we know, is it for certain these two dates, February 10th and February 24th? Or if they decide to change it, how much notice do they have to give? I guess they can cancel it up to the day of by sending an email.
So when the application is advertised, then it'll be on the agenda in some form. So it could be where it's advertised and then we get closer to date and the application, just before we publish the agenda, they may ask to withdraw it. And at that point, we'll have to decide how to handle it. And typically what happens is that item is on the agenda, even though they have asked for it to be tabled or moved or whatever that might be. And then like what happened at your another application, it was just asked of you to make a decision to continue it and then possibly re-advertise it. So I can't give you a good answer other than that. Once it's advertised and once it's published, then you see it, and then we have to come to you to make a decision. If they pull it before it's advertised and before it's published, then it just won't be on the agenda. It'll just be on a different date.
So technically, I guess, like, we get our agendas on the Thursday prior to Tuesday, so it could, in theory, be less than a week of a potential notice. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christina Michelle. I stand before you not just to exercise my human right to speak, but to call this city forward. I am here following the murder of my childhood friend, Gary Thomas, December 30th, 2020. Chamari Charles by Titusville Police Department, February 7th, 2025. The police-involved death of David Riley, February 14th, 2025. And most recently, the overdose of a family member. I am calling for a citizens review board. I am demanding accountability via the firing of Chief John Lau. Finally, I am proposing the creation of a public space of remembrance for families who have lost loved ones. First, Titusville needs a citizens review board with real power, not symbolic influence. Accountability cannot exist if the police are allowed to investigate themselves with no civilian oversight. A citizen review board, an idea publicly refused by Chief John Lau, made up of Titusville residents, must have access to records with the authority to make disciplinary as well as policy recommendations. This is not radical. This is reasonable governance. In a city where youth are being sexually abused, harassed, and killed. Second, I am demanding, along with more than 1,000 signatures entered on the record on July 8th, 2025, for the firing of John Lau as Chief of Police for the Titusville Police Department. Leadership is not about image. Leadership is about responsibility. When use of force cases are justified without community trust, when citizens feel silenced instead of protected, when families are left with grief instead of answers, the chief is not separate from that. That is a reality. The chief is responsible for the culture of this department, the training it receives, and the standards it enforces. Before you, entered on the record today, December 9th, 2025, results of a public records request of Officer Chivez Baez's use of force reports indicate a pattern of harassment and intimidation of youth, specifically targeting young Black men while walking the streets of their neighborhood behind the guise of fear for a weapon. Silence is not leadership. Defensiveness is not leadership. Silence is violence. Accountability is leadership. Finally, I propose that the Titusville establish.
Thank you very much.
A public community space.
Thank you.
Hello.
You can lift that up if you want, so you don't have to bend down.
My voice is kind of deep anyway, so I don't really need it. We've been talking here. My name is Seth Adams, and the question is, can the city enforce Coulter to take down the deceptive website? Is that something you guys can do?
I don't believe that's within our power.
Okay. All right. The website and the changing of the dates, the deceptive website and the changing of the dates, that's a little bit rough, I think, for the public. So we might want to take a look at that, So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Ray?
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I don't have my glasses. This is a little rough. Oh, thanks, Dan. Thanks. Every year around the holidays, the mayor routinely speaks at the Homeless Memorial Service in Sandpoint Park, allegedly honoring all the people who've passed on the streets in Titusville the past year. Law enforcement officials routinely have been on the agenda, and they've routinely been no-shows. The city has a multi-unit abandoned apartment complex on South De Leon, empty for 8 years or more. Why haven't you made an effort to actually help with housing, possibly creating jobs for homeless people, as well as rehabbing these buildings? Something for these people while they are alive rather than when they're dead. The pomp and circumstance of the yearly homeless memorial is touching, but high time to walk the walk. I've seen miles of new asphalt, drains, curbing, and sidewalks to nowhere installed this year. Can you explain why you will not do your job and enforce your own noise nuisance laws, which have affected my health negatively for 19 months and would cost nothing in comparison? And that's all again from the excessively loud F-150 pickup at 583 Gardenia. How can Titusville PD say they've done an inspection on the truck and find nothing wrong in light of my seeing headers, which are illegal in Florida and Titusville, this past June. You have repaved miles of lesser traveled streets than in Gardendale, specifically Fern. I looked today from the first 5 blocks from Gardenia Circle. There are either 54 potholes and/or indentations in just the first 5 blocks. Also, I want to point out, when you come to any of these meetings, there's a paper over there. I have it right here. You call it Council Chamber Guidelines.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'll have to come back next meeting.
Thank you.
I saw you give other people more time. I can't have 30 seconds.
Tried to be fair to everybody and consistent across the board.
Okay, so you can't give me 30 seconds or a minute.
I cannot individually, no.
Okay.
I move to give him 30 seconds.
I would second that.
All right, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. Yeah, one of these things says, speakers will address the meeting from the podium. I've seen you reprimand people because they wanted to look at Mr. Lau. That's against your own rules and regulations. And here's another quote. No person shall interfere with the rights of others to speak, hear, see, or attend the proceedings. So when you tell people they're off topic, to me, that's none of your business. People have 3 minutes. They should be able to speak their 3 minutes without interruption. When you interrupt
Thank
them,
you, sir. Yeah. And actually, the mayor, if you continue to read the rules of council, decides who's on topic and who's not on topic. And when we're talking about specific action items, you have to be on topic. Petitions and requests, you can talk about whatever topic you want to talk about. But if you ever want to discuss the rules, I'd be happy to do it outside of this meeting. Anybody else for petitions and requests from the public, non-agenda items? Seeing none, city manager.
Sure. Now moving on to item 8, consent agenda. There are currently 11 items on consent. Does council wish to pull any of those 11 items?
I'm not seeing any. City manager.
And I'll go ahead and read the titles of the 11 items for the record. Item 8A, contract award for RFP SV-25-P-050TB, citywide employee assistance EAP services. 8B, piggyback agreement for investment advisor services with U.S. Bancorp Asset Management Incorporated, doing business as PFM Asset Management. 8C, Titusville Farmington LLC FY26 budget and FY27 pro forma projections. 8D, Flag Memorial Committee use of restricted funds. 8E, 20 kilowatt diesel generator hazard mitigation public grant contract award. 8F, resolution number 22-2025, adopting the Brevard County Hazard Mitigation Plan 2025. 8G, professional engineering design services for Titusville Marina Hurricane Repair Project. 8H, continuing contract CO23Q006TB, task order number 9 with Kimley Horn for Trailtown Amenities Strategic Master Plan. 8I, restricted donations and purchase order issuance, nanobubbles pilot project third-party monitoring. 8J, acceptance of easement from Park Square Enterprises, LLC, Odyssey Ridge Townhomes, and 8K, Odyssey Ridge Townhomes right-of-way use agreement.
Thank you, city manager. City clerk.
We have only one card, Stan Johnston.
Stan Johnson, 860 Poinsettia Avenue, and I have 7 agenda items that I've put a card on, and generally, that didn't work very well at the last council meeting. In fact, as I spoke on one of only like 7 items again, no, I think it was 9 items, and the one that was passed was, that I didn't get to speak on was I can't believe this. The city's consideration of purchasing the Police Hall of Fame for $15 million. And that was on our consent agenda. So I have said, and many others have said, is that when you have consent agenda items, that you know, in this case, that's an issue of $15 million. And there was no discussion on it at all. Nobody had a card on it, and it was passed. And that was your consideration of you know, your assessment of $150,000 given towards this evaluation of a $15 million project that you're seriously considering. $15 million is a lot of money. I mean, I'm glad that some people are here behind me, because I think we could have bought Royal Oak, 147 acres, for under $4 million. And now we're talking about $15 million for something we don't know what we're going to do with it. It's going to have to probably have $1 million of renovations. But anyhow, on 8C is the Tifa issue, is that Mr. Ball's not here though now. Yes, he is. He was talking about that it's a deep water aquifer. Understanding is that I've got 5 families related to us out there on Maytown, and they're talking to me about, my goodness, their ponds are going down, almost dry. And today, when I went to St. John's, the state of Florida, over half the state of Florida, is in a drought condition, and severe drought for parts of northern Florida. Severe drought. So I think we should consider that as far as sustainability, which is not considered. And that's a serious matter. And another serious matter is that on this same issue is that the city of Titusville, our operators of our wells have obviously bungled and bungled and bungled with all the millions of dollars of wells we lost, that we didn't lose years and years ago when we pumped them with much less suction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. City Council, any discussion? Member Nelson.
Move to approve consent agenda items A through K.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? City Clerk?
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Mayor Connors?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cole?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Member Moscoso?
Yes.
I get choked up by the consent agenda too, City Clerk. City Manager.
So moving on to ordinances, item 9. As you know, 8A was removed by the applicant. Moving on to 9B is a conditional use permit. It is a quasi-judicial item, so the city attorney will read the rules for quasi-judicial procedure.
During this portion of the meeting, anyone wishing to speak on a quasi-judicial item must first sign a public hearing agenda card and sign the oath contained thereon. These cards are located at the council, at the front, it says back here, but at the front of the council chamber. Those speaking in favor of a request will be heard first, those opposed will be heard second, and those who wish to make the public comment on the item will speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. Witnesses may be cross-examined by the applicant, council, staff representatives, and such other representatives as authorized by council. If you have any photographs, sketches, or documents that you desire for the city council to consider, they must be submitted into evidence and will be retained by the city. Please submit such exhibits to the city clerk. City clerk, have all persons wishing to speak before the city council signed an oath of card? Is there anyone present who has not signed an oath card that wishes to speak on a quasi-judicial item at this time? City Clerk, have all agenda items been properly advertised? Yes. And I'll make the inquiry of council. Have any council members visited any sites or spoken to any members of the public regarding the item to be reviewed? Could you
I have not.
state on the record individually, please?
Member Nelson?
No.
Member Moscoso?
No.
Vice Mayor Cole?
No.
Member Stokel?
No. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Mr. Parrish, I believe you're up.
The agenda begins on page 1347 of your packet. I'm just going to skip around a little bit to kind of describe what's going on here. So we reviewed the application for an outdoor storage use in property that's zoned currently Indian River City Neighborhood Commercial on Hopkins Avenue. It was originally zoned M1, which is a warehousing or light industrial services and warehousing zoning district. The Indian River City neighborhood zoning was placed on the property in 2012, which basically grandfathered the existing light industrial type uses there, which was currently being used for a mini warehouse and some other industrial uses related to the M1, which are mostly office and contractor uses. The applicant is asking to add an additional use, which is currently not listed as a permitted use in the Indian River City neighborhood. However, there is a section of the code in that zoning district that actually allows for this only through a conditional use permit, so that's why it's being brought before you. On page 1352, as the last page of the staff report, I'm just going to go through the conditions that we are recommending. We reviewed the application consistent with the criteria of the code and found it to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and the zoning, provided certain conditions are applied. So we are recommending 4 conditions if this is approved. 1, that the outdoor storage areas shall be screened from view of the adjacent rights-of-way and lots by buildings and/or opaque masonry wall or fence at least 8 feet in height, be maintained in good condition at all times. In addition, second condition, applicant to apply for a building permit demonstrating restoration of the existing 8-foot opaque fence at location 3900 South Hopkins Avenue and installation of opaque fencing at 3838 South Hopkins Avenue. Compliance shall be verified through the building permit review process, and that would be primarily for a fence or a wall, whatever they're going to propose to do. The third condition is that the outdoor storage areas shall be kept in a neat and orderly arrangement. Materials shall not be stacked higher than the screen wall or fence. And then the last condition we're recommending is that all outdoor storage areas shall be located on paved, stabilized surfaces designed and constructed to prevent soil or water contamination. So that might require a permit depending on what they're doing as well. This was brought before the Planning and Zoning Commission. They recommended approval with the conditions that staff recommended. On page 1358 of your packet, you'll see the plot plan basically just highlighted portions of a survey, property boundary survey the applicant gave us, indicating where they would like to have the outdoor storage area, which will be in conjunction with the mini warehouse area, which was previously approved when it was previously zoned M1 with a conditional use permit in 2003. I'm going to refer to you to some of the maps on 1368, page 1368 of your packet. You'll see the zoning map. Again, in 2012, through community engagement, a community plan, and a tailor-made zoning district for this neighborhood with the involvement of the community there, the Indian River City Neighborhood Zoning District was approved and applied on this area in this neighborhood in 2012. Most of the interior of this neighborhood was zoned the sub-district residential, and the exterior surrounding areas of this neighborhood was zoned commercial, the sub-district commercial in this Indian River City Neighborhood Zoning District. This property is currently zoned commercial inside this zoning district. On page I'm going to skip a moment here. On the next page, 1363, you'll see at the very bottom there, the section that I referred to earlier that's inside the zoning district that basically says that permitted and conditional uses of the light industrial services and warehousing M1 zoning district may be permitted provided the following conditions are met. So this is their way to allow certain uses that are inside that M1 zoning district, inside a property that is currently zoned Indian River City Neighborhood Commercial, provided they meet the conditions. In addition, it also says in paragraph F, any non-residential use in the Indian River City Neighborhood Commercial District not listed shall be considered a conditional use permit. And so we have applied that section of the code as well. We believe they meet the conditions listed here on this page and the following page of the code, provided the conditions that we're recommending are adopted. I'm going to refer to you to page 1367 of your packet. And you'll see an aerial to give you an idea of where this property is located in the city. It's a fairly long property on the west side between the FEC Railroad and South Hopkins Avenue, north of Knox McRae. So the area where this outdoor storage area will be mostly applied is on the southern half of this elongated property. With that, I'll try to answer any questions you have.
Member Stokel?
Yes. Don't we have a storage facility already on Hopkins in this area?
I believe so.
Okay, do you know, was it zoned that way, or did we do a CUP for that one prior to? Do you know how that one was approved?
I can tell you about this property. There was a CUP for a mini warehouse, but at the time in 2003, when the CUP was approved, I believe that the code at the time allowed for these external storage units to be placed on the property and considered as mini warehouse at the time. And that's how that CUP was approved, and that's what's governing on this property right now.
Okay. And then, are these going to be one story?
The pods that were.
This application?
Outdoor storage does not necessarily have to be one story.
Okay.
It's all about how it's placing it outside without a roof, but our concern is about how it's screened.
I guess I was looking at the conditions, and it looked like the conditions were, an 8-foot fence, and then I'm thinking, okay, why is that a condition if it's 2 stories potentially, or what was the thought process behind that?
Well, an 8-foot fence is not necessarily 2 stories. It's just the height of the fence enclosure itself. And one of the conditions we're recommending is that if they're going to stack material in there, that it shouldn't exceed the height of that.
So the material shouldn't exceed that height, but the
Correct.
storage facility could exceed that height.
For the pods, for the
Yes.
original CP, I'd have to look back at what those conditions are, but I don't believe they were allowed to stack them on top of each other.
Okay.
Yeah, the way they're laid out right now is that they're adjacent to each other, so I don't believe that there's.
Okay, but there's nothing in here regarding height, at least that I saw.
Of the materials inside for outdoor storage?
Well, not except for that, but I'm talking about the actual piece of property and what's going to be on there.
Well,
There's no height restrictions or anything.
the Indian River City neighborhood, I believe, has a height restriction. I could try and find that
Okay.
for you.
Okay, I'm just thinking through this. I mean, I feel like this will be fine. I don't have any issues with it, but could there potentially be something that does go above height restrictions that we're not covering in the CUP?
So the CUP is only concerned about the outdoor storage. So just the material that's going to be laid out outside.
Okay, I see
So
what
it's
you're
not
saying.
related to structures of buildings,
Okay,
this particular CUP.
okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor Cole?
I'm well familiar with this area because I run by there, and anything would be better than what it is right now because it's a cyclone fence with the sheeting on the side that's always draped down. So my question to you, Brad, is that you say you're requiring them to put up a fence or a concrete wall, and I'm just wondering about the aesthetics of it.
Our concern is
Because
that
it's right on the main drag of Hopkins.
Yes, sir.
So that's my question.
Our concern was the screening, so making sure that the screening was okay.
The screening that's there now is always down because the wind will blow it down, and it's not something good to look at.
What I mean by screening is not the cloth or
You're just
material.
talking about structural screening.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Making sure that it's opaque.
Okay.
Thank you very much. City Clerk,
Michael Lord,
is there any other cards?
and then Stan Johnston.
I'm not Stan Johnson, I'm Michael Lloyd, so. Thank you, guys. I'm just here to answer any questions. I do own the building there at 3838 South Hopkins, so the building to the north, and Herman, I've seen you run by it hundreds of times, so yes, sir. The building to the north is office buildings. It's broken up into light industrial, AC contractors. We lease it to, my company is actually a general contractor. So we have a need for storage. We ended up purchasing that yard about a year ago. And yes, the screening wasn't taken care of by the past owners. We do want to be good neighbors and make sure we take care of that. So there is a need from our tenants. There's a need really for the community to make it look better, one, and then also park some things there because if you're a concrete guy, you need to park your trailer on a yard and not at a house. And so anything we park there will be something you can drive on the road. And then we'll have little storage units there with it so you could actually like store some things there too. So automatic gate, we're gonna have things that you know bring it up to a better standard in that neighborhood. So so thank you guys for hearing it and hope you'll support it. And I don't see you running by there as much though. I don't know what the deal is, Herman.
Should probably wait till after he votes to say that. All right.
Yes, sir.
I can speak now. Mm-hmm.
My uncle worked for his dad and for many years, for some time. So anyhow, I'm not against Mr. Lloyd, but I'm going to request tabling of this for a reason you don't like. And what's going on is that the city has failed to refusal by HR to discipline some horrible dishonesty in the city. I'm talking about fraud, false reports and so forth that are costing the city lots of money. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's in the millions of dollars. And that's Mr. Parrish. Mr. Parrish has, I charged him with a false report filed to FDEP. And,
Mr. Johnson, please stay on the topic of this
this is what
conditional
I'm
use
talking.
permit.
Okay. Please understand that I am a professional engineer, and I'm giving you my findings as an expert witness. And that what is happening is Mr. Parrish has been corrupt, and he's committed fraud. He's been disciplined, and yet this sustainability report titled Resilient Titusville 2019 has been removed again, an addendum. And so what's going on is that this was a false report submitted to FDEP by the false reports concocted by Mr. Parrish and Mr. Galindo and East Central Florida Regional Planning Council.
Mr. Johnson, please get on topic of this property.
This is on topic seriously. Now, this is a quasi-judicial. I think you should pay attention. You're taking my time, and I don't appreciate that, because I'm talking about something serious. I'm talking about what I'm saying is false reports, fraud by Mr. Parrish.
That's not the item on the table.
And that's why I'm asking you to table it, because I don't think you should consider him because he's dishonest. He's a fraud. Liars, cheats, shysters. That's what he's been. And he's not disciplined by the city as he should be. I've gone to Mr. De Niro and asked him to do something about it, and he refuses to do it. again. In other words, he disciplined him once for it, and now now it's continued again. And this is a serious issue concerning millions and millions of dollars. If y'all would listen to what the sustainability report has, errors and omissions, deliberate errors and omissions by Mr. Parrish and some others. So I don't think I don't have any reason why, I don't think you
Thank
should.
you, Mr. Johnson.
I'm requesting to be tabled. Thank you.
All right, does council have any other questions of Mr. Parrish or the applicant? Seeing none, Member Nelson.
I would move to approve CUP number 7, 2025 for 3838 South Hopkins and 3900 South Hopkins with the conditions outlined by staff.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion from this council? Seeing none, City Clerk?
Mayor Connors?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cole?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Moscoso?
Yes.
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. City Manager, I believe, now we're on to petitions and requests from the public.
That's correct, sir.
Non-agenda items. Anybody that has not spoken the first time, now is your opportunity. Seeing none, I guess we're on to mayor and council reports. The one thing we need to bring up is I believe in the past, we approved Member Stokel to go to the Florida League of Cities Legislative Action Days. So we kind of omitted Member Moscoso and myself. So I know we're looking for approval on that. We can make a motion whenever. It doesn't have to necessarily be under my report. But other than that.
I would make that motion.
I'd second.
Okay, so I have a motion. I have a second. City Clerk, are there any cards on this item?
Stan Johnston?
I'm not sure what it was.
The motion on the table is to pay for expenses for Member Moscoso and myself to go to Tallahassee for the legislative
I'm
action
very much
days.
against it because if y'all, you should have listened to me. What I said at the last meeting is that not the CRA is that I was speaking on all these activities you have going here, going there, and you're not taking care of issues of the city that needs to be taken care of. So I don't want you guys to. I don't want the city to spend money on either of you going there. None of it. Not at all. I'm very much against. I'm not a little bit against it. I'm very much against it. I was offended. I was removed from talking at my freedom of speech was interrupted just because I was saying this at the last meeting. And I just think I'm just disgusted with what you guys are doing. You're not doing your work. I mean, we've got. You never did take care of the issue of sewage, people being sprayed with sewage. You don't care. This has been going on for 40 years. This approval to build these dams, over 40 years. And what have you guys done? What do? You go here, and you have this banquet and so forth, slapping each other on the back. I don't appreciate it at all. You're losing, and I talked to you about losing millions of dollars by, for example, a sustainability report that's just fraud. I think you should listen to this. You have no business going to Tallahassee or somewhere for this particular issue. I'm against it. Not a little bit, big time. Neither of you, none of you should be doing what you're doing as far as all these little committees and so forth that you're doing. You're not taking care of the public. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked with what you're doing. In other words, I come to you about a problem that's been going on for 40 years. And you know what I get? I get no answer at all.
Stay on topic, Mr. Johnson.
I'm against it totally for any funding of you guys. I was against your ball, whatever that ball was.
Stay on topic, Mr. Johnson.
And this is another expenditure of money that I'm not against. I'm not for it at all. Not at all. It's just a slap in the face. I think it's a slap in the face to the public, what you guys been doing. And, you know, these houses have been flooded several times, and you never even took.
Stay on topic, Mr. Johnson.
So this is it. In other words, I don't think, for example, Sarah Stokel's learned a thing about all these legal things that she's been with all this, you know, saying she's done this and she's get this as an award or something like that, and the issues that she's been doing going to the League of Cities. I don't think she's learned a thing. I mean, look, all I get is nonsense and, here, go ahead and
All
keep.
right, have a seat, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, I don't think you should have removed me, but you did.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion from council? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Member Scosa, would you like to be next? Member Nelson?
Oh. No report, other than to say Merry Christmas. And I sort of wanted to know what was going on with the concrete plant.
Funny you should ask that. Earlier today, I sent you a memo from our code enforcement manager detailing the last 6 months or so of actions where we would receive a complaint, we'd send out code enforcement to discuss remedies with the plant manager. There would be some corrective actions such as watering down to prevent dust runoff. They would come into compliance, and then several days later or a week later or whatever, they would fall out of compliance. Additional complaints would be received. And this cycle of inspections, corrective action, pass, fail has continued. Right now, it's an open case on code enforcement, so there hasn't been any fines levied yet. However, that's probably the next stage. Additionally, it's to the point now where I think we need to take a look with the city attorney, myself, and code enforcement to see what provisions can be found to further strengthen corrective actions. Because right now, it's simply not working, just going out there every other week and with code enforcement. So we need to have some more, hate to say concrete plans in place, but that's what we need to do. And maybe Brad, if you want to get any input onto that or regarding, how the business got to be there in the first place, because if you take a look at it, it's in an awkward spot on Garden Street.
It's been
right
there
before you enter
forever.
the downtown, a very industrial type facility.
That's true. It's a grandfather. I mean, the zoning district's been in place. It's a heavy industrial use, heavy industrial zoning, the most intense zoning district we have in the city at that location, and it's been there for a very long time. So any uses that are allowed within that zoning district will be permitted there. Obviously, they have to operate according to all regulations, including erosion control.
So would the state step in?
Possibly. I don't know if we communicated
Environmental
with them.
protection. Because I'm seeing concrete, I don't know what I'd call it, coming down Garden Street headed toward our river.
Correct. They should have systems in place to wash the vehicles before they go off the property. So the materials should not be coming off the property onto the street.
Okay. So we're working on it.
Anything else,
Yay.
Member Nelson?
Thank you.
Member Stokel?
Yes, just a few items. One, I was going to bring up the concrete facility and specifically see if there's any legal ramifications that we can do or look into potentially. I know that's happening, not with this situation, but other municipalities where it seems like an applicant or something was approved or even dollars were given for something and then plans change. What legal course do we have to move forward? That would probably be something I would hope that we can look into from that perspective.
And we are scheduled to look into it. Glenn and I have a meeting on Thursday to see what our current code provides as far as enforcement or any amendment or addition we need to do, in addition to other legal remedies outside of our code that we may be able to take with council's permission.
Yes, thank you so much. Another thing,
Member Stokel, are you moving into your report? Or is
oh,
it
I
still
was
about
going
the-
to, is it not my
It's
turn?
still on her report, but I think,
Okay, that's all I had for the
I
concrete,
think
yes.
Herman wanted to chime in on the concrete thing.
Yeah, my question would be to the concrete plant. Have they done are they doing anything different now than they did before? Do they have a holding pond in there when they wash their trucks off, that the runoff doesn't go into the water? It's just a lot of questions that need to be answered, because after they've been here all these years, all of a sudden the dust starts coming up now. They're either doing something different or the protections that they had in place prior are failing.
According to the report that was shared by the city manager, it showed that sometimes they're failing and sometimes they're passing. So they're doing something right sometimes, it's not consistently.
And I would feel very strongly that if we got a large enough fine on them and we got the management people in to talk to them, I think that we may get their attention because it's obvious that we're not getting their attention now.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Cole.
So potentially an injunction?
That's always an option, a legal option. But again, we'll discuss what we currently can move forward under our code, whether
Okay.
there are code amendments that need to be taken or other legal remedies as stated, an injunction, a deck action, whatever legal remedies that may be available. But that will be presented for council to give the directive, perhaps at a closed executive session. However, the report does outline specifically all that has been done for the past, 6 months or more? So the report is very detailed as far as efforts that have been taken.
They seem to be very inconsistent. Okay, thank you.
Member Nelson, does that conclude your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Member Stokel?
Yes. Thank you to Mayor Connors for passing this out. I was going to talk about this briefly. You all have. It's hard for me to put into words how much work I would truly believe the Florida League of Cities does. So it's disheartening to hear comments made otherwise, but this will give you an idea of what has occurred over this fall months. So for those that aren't aware, there are 5 legislative policy committees that the Florida League of Cities helps to organize. So any local elected official can sign up to serve on a policy committee. There are 5. The good part about there being 5 is due to sunshine law, they don't want to have a council member serving with another council member on that same policy committee in case there could be a sunshine violation. Within those 5 policy committees, there are 3 set meetings that occur, one in September, October, and then their third one was at this past legislative conference in November, and I know Mayor Connors attended that as well. During those meetings, again, you have to keep in mind, these people are volunteering their time to come and work through some issues that we face at the local level. So a lot of times we'll have frustrations, and then sometimes they're rooted in things that we have no control over, no power over, that are coming from the state. And so to me, these are probably, you guys know this, I'm most passionate about this. So these committees met, and this is what they came up with through these 3 meetings of fine-tuning, talking through some of the issues. How should we word this? What's our stance on this? Understanding that we're not trying to be at odds with the state, but we want to come and partner alongside them and best serve our citizens. So if you do take the time, it gives you some background, but just for the record, the priorities address property taxes and a lot of the property tax legislation that you see. I can't remember how many proposals there were, 7, 9, yeah, okay. Property taxes, enterprise transfer funds, housing, revising Senate Bill 180, sovereign immunity, community redevelopment agencies, extraterritorial surcharges, municipal elections, and public records exemption for municipal clerks and staff. So you can see the actual policy statements that were voted on and approved, as well as background on that. This is what we'll be doing in Tallahassee in January, but I will say, if you have any relationships with any state reps or state senators, in the meantime, please reach out to them prior, because they are meeting right now, discussing these things, working through them. And sometimes, and I shared this at the conference, sometimes it can be very frustrating and you feel like you're sharing something and they don't hear it, but they do. They don't have to abide by sunshine law, and they're in back rooms, they're meeting and talking. So the more that we can say, hey, have you thought about this? Or this is what's happening with our city, or if we have examples, it really does go a long way as they're kind of working through it through each of their committees. So that is kind of what, if you want to start just prepping for what we'll do in Tallahassee. The second item, since there are 3 of us that are going to legislative action days, and that falls on our January 27th council meeting, I wanted to see if we wanted to move that council meeting potentially to Thursday, since 3 of us would not be here. So just wanted to open that up, because if there are items coming before us and we don't have another meeting in December, I think we should talk about that now.
Very good call, Member Stokel, and I believe we made that same change last year.
Yes.
So You have to make a
Are you-
motion.
I make a motion that we move our January 27th council meeting to January 29th, which is a Thursday night.
A second.
There's a motion and a
Because
second.
otherwise,
There won't be a quorum.
there won't be a quorum. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be repetitive and redundant, but I just said I was much opposed to spending like over $1,400 for Connors and Moscoso to go. So the easy solution is just don't go, and then you'll have a quorum. So just don't do it. So I'm against the motion, and I'm doing it because I just don't think I don't see that you guys are responding. I have closed doors repeatedly from this agency, and it's not right. And I've also had my freedom of speech removed repeatedly. So I'm against your motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion from this board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Member Stokel?
Yes. Next item, this was kind of a fun one. I just was going to pay my water bill, and I was in line, and the lady with me, she did not know I was in council or anything. I just was going to pay, and she's like, I'm so excited to pay my water bill. This is such a nice experience compared to enlisted another city. And I'm not going to say that city, but I was like, oh, really? She's like, oh, yeah, it's so bad there. Here, everyone's so friendly and nice. I enjoy coming. And so I just want to say thank you to the staff. Again, she had no clue who I was. I was just paying my water bill, and I thought that was nice to share. I tend to do that sometimes. The other item I had was, speaking of our council retreat that was mentioned before, I did reach out to some of my colleagues that are part of our Young Elected Municipal Officials group. And someone did reach out to me and said that they felt that the retreat that they have planned and that they typically do is more meaningful and impactful than several council meetings. And I asked for him to send me some more information. The good part that I liked about it, which I think would be helpful for us, is the facilitator that they brought in. One, he said they had a psychology background, and I'm going to look into see if the Florida League of Cities has maybe any resources for this as well, because he said he thinks that his may have come from Florida League of Cities. But that person met with each council member one-on-one prior to kind of talk through what is important to you. And it reminded me of what we did kind of with the city manager interviews, like going over what are your top priorities. And then he built that agenda based on common themes he found among each of the council members for them to kind of workshop through and then to create that agenda. And so to me, I feel like that process, that's just the one takeaway I got from this so far. I asked him to go ahead and send me the agenda of what it looks like. But I feel like that would be a much better approach than having someone come in, facilitating discussion the day of, and then kind of just giving us a report. I feel like some of that pre-work will be really valuable for us. And then there's some other things that I just asked him on. Okay, so they did go off-site. You do have to notice it. The public is welcome, so you have the open door, but they would just be able to speak one time, which he said they typically don't have anybody, but if they do, they might come and then leave, which I think would be fine for us. But I guess I don't know if what my ask is here, other than just to kind of share that, get some thoughts, and then as I investigate more information, continue to share with you. But I feel like we do probably have to start deciding when and what we want to do soon.
Thank you, Member Stokel. I believe that was the general consensus of council, was to do the community workshop on a Saturday, and then afterwards, us as a board kind of have a, more workshop type event amongst ourselves. So I think that's generally supported. Member Moscoso.
Yeah, my only thing is we're going to have elections again. 3 seats are up, and so I don't know if this is something that we plan to do after the election, or if you feel like it's useful to do before. Because my understanding was it was also like team bonding in a sense, and 3 seats are going to could completely change. And so just to think about that as we move forward. I know it would have been helpful when I first got on council in the beginning, and so that could be something to look at as well.
I'm okay with that too, just because of the timeline. So maybe we do the community workshop, and then as I gather more information, we can prepare to do it next year. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want us to lose sight of that, because I do think it would be very valuable for us.
Well, I appreciate, both trains of thought. My only kind of hesitation is we still got to prepare a budget together for 2027. And I think that's important if we need to iron out our priorities ahead of time so we can make sure we have a nice, clean budget that addresses the needs of our constituents. Because sometimes the budget kind of comes in close to the deadline and we don't have a whole lot of time to discuss our priorities. So I think that would be a lot of bulk of the conversation. Member Nelson.
I like the idea of the retreat because in thinking about our flooding problems, our problems with stormwater, it sort of gives us the chance to talk about it and say, what about this solution? What about that solution? And plan a definite program of this is how we're going to deal with it and hopefully fix it. So I like that idea.
And I feel like to me, it's a lot less formal than this. Like, oh, let me push my button. I might not say something. It's us like working together and really coming up and having that open dialogue.
And we can do it during the day, so it's not, 10, 11 o'clock at night where we're tired. You've worked all day. Andrew's worked all day. The rest of us have done. Herman's worked all day.
Okay.
I haven't worked all day, but still, you get tired. And it'd just be nice to relax and have that kind of discussion on what do you think about trying this? Will it work? So I like the idea.
Okay. And then my last thing. Sorry.
Yeah, along those lines, I think that's a great idea to do it. I realize that election is in November of next year, but I don't think we should delay this because we still have to govern for the rest of the year. And nothing's to say we can't do this on a yearly basis because I think the type of camaraderie we could form, we can form there, and that's the only place we can do it. We can't do it anyplace else, which is unfortunate. But I don't think we should delay it. I think we should do it, and I think we should have the exact thing that you came up with about whoever our facilitator is, interviews us individually, and then uses that to run our workshop. And having it during the day would be good, too.
Okay.
Member Stokel?
Yeah, so I guess I can get more information, get the schedule, and then if you guys are okay with it, work with staff to see how I can best assist and see if there's a floor league association. I don't know if you guys have worked on anything yet.
I was going to mention that, actually discuss it at City Manager Report, that I had already arranged this year's. However, if council wants to take a different direction, obviously I need clarification, but I had already arranged with Kristen Bakke to do the community conversation and a follow-up. However, if we want to go in a different direction, we still have plenty of time to change it based on council's desires.
City Manager, I believe the conversation was at our last meeting. We would do the community conversation, right? We still want to do that. Just after that, take that feedback and us get together
Right,
as a
and
board.
then the second session would be of a different format.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
my
still
understanding as
probably
well.
have
We're
Kristen
actually
do
talking
that.
to each other,
Right.
because at that meeting, we're just listening.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Okay, and then also just to follow up, when I was talking to him, he also said it's been such a success that they do it annually, that now they do like a mini one 6 months in because it's working well for them. And then my last thing is asking of staff, do you know, I've gotten some complaints about our meetings are not on Spectrum channel anymore. Have you guys heard that, or could you look into that?
Yeah, you're talking about broadcasting our meetings?
Yes.
Spectrum's equipment is not working properly. You can only get it through YouTube and through other venues, but we're working with Spectrum to
Okay.
update it. And what they want to do is they're required to broadcast that as a public service, but they don't want to update their equipment, and it's a Spectrum issue, but we're working on them.
Okay.
What they want to do is they want us to buy them new equipment, and so we're hesitant
I mean,
to do
there's
that.
other meetings that are on there that I see from other government
Right.
meetings, so I'm hopeful that
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see like, it looks like skipped, but that's just equipment issues. It's not our broadcasting.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I have.
Vice Mayor?
The only thing I have is, I think we had a good year, and I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You took all my time.
To be quite honest, I think that was the shortest one yet. But I'd just like to piggyback on what Member Stokel said regarding the Florida League of Cities policy committee meetings. It's been a pleasure to serve on. I was on the emergency management one, that's where SB 180 fell. It was an emergency management bill. So that was, the bulk of my time was spent there. And it's a big priority of all of us cities to revise sections 18 and 28 of that in particular, because it's a massive, massive bill, and most people don't even know what's all in it. So we spent a lot of time doing that, and hopefully we can get the ball across the finish line. And that's where going to Tallahassee makes a lot of sense, because we want to make sure that the state doesn't preempt everything that we try to do in local government, because home rule is very important to all of us. So with that being said, that's my report. Appreciate you, City Manager.
Moving on to the city manager report, I have one action item, and that is a letter of support for the Cocoa Brightline Station. As you know, we're all aware that Cocoa is trying very hard to get funding for that station, and they have asked us, in conjunction with the TPO, to send a letter to the federal FDOT Secretary Duffy supporting that. And we're looking for authorization to have the mayor sign the letter, and then I would fax it over to the TPO.
A little bit of background on this project. It's been going on a long time. I think we've all heard about it. They had their grant completely submitted, and then the federal government changed how the grants need to be submitted, so they had to basically reset and go back to square one. So that's really what they're looking for, is that one piece, and then hopefully we can get that ball on the road. Member Nelson?
So I would move to approve the letter of support for the Cocoa Brightline Station.
Second.
A motion, I have a second. Go for it. Thank you. City Manager, did you have something to add?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion from this board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Next, for mentioned earlier that we're setting up some dates for the strategic planning. Obviously, now we'll just do the community conversation facilitated by Chris and Baki, and we're looking for some availability in February. And on the second one with the council, we'll wait for further clarification from Councilmember Stokel before we set that. And the venue, we'll do that a little differently than we've done in the past. But I have basically the 3 dates, 3 Saturdays in February, the 28th, 21st, and the 7th are available. The 28th, I've been told, is a bike rally type citywide event, which may or may not conflict with any of council members' involvement in. But if one of those dates is available, I'd like to go ahead and confirm it and have it set up with our facilitator.
You didn't say the 14th, right?
14th is not available.
Appreciate I was on
That's Valentine's Day.
council meeting. My wife really loved me.
Does the 21st work for everybody?
It's good for me.
I don't see any objection. Member Stokel?
I kind of liked the 7th, unless there's a conflict, only because I would like it to happen sooner so we can get a report back and then lead into the retreat happening soon before we start the budget process. I potentially could have a conflict on the 21st, but if we end up picking that date, I will be here.
What time are we looking at having it?
Is it like 9 to
9 to
noon?
12, 3 hours, and it's a little different format proposed to get more community participation.
Okay, I was just curious because I have a wedding that evening, so I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
You get married?
No.
Oh my gosh.
7th is okay with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
7th there is.
7th it is. That'll be a good date. And the last informational item is that early on there was a discussion of having a town hall to regarding the flash flooding in conjunction with the county. That's not going to happen. However, we've decided to go along on our own and hold a stormwater management workshop on the 22nd of January. And attached in your packet is a flyer that talks about, it's more or less just an opportunity for staff to meet with individuals regarding our stormwater management efforts, both past and future.
Can I ask a question? Okay. Why is the county doesn't want to participate?
We asked the county, and they declined to participate in a joint town hall. And I don't want to go any further than that. We did ask
Okay.
at a staff level.
And does our public works communicate with their road and bridges? Because I know a lot of the roads up there are like half and half.
Right. That was one of the reasons to have a joint meeting, is to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, like my understanding is.
They are meeting, but they didn't want to have a town hall.
Okay, yeah. My thing is, I just want to make sure that, like, for example, if Titusville is clearing the ditches on the street, that they're coordinating with the county to make sure that the whole ditch is clean, not just
And
part
that
of
they
it.
will be meeting, and Kevin actually has some dates set for meetings at the staff level, but not in a.
But that's something that's been happening in the past as well, or is this just now going to start?
As far as coordination and maintenance, the county duration is about once every 5-6 years, where ours is more annually based. So we don't really coordinate when we clean a ditch versus when they clean a ditch. We clean our side, we pass along any information, road bridge as given to us. But there's not a timing where we're both there. On the occasion, the Minzy Mucks have come in for us for the county side to do the cities as well, but we have a lot more availability to get out there than they do. So historically, they've not been timed together.
Yeah. That's one thing. I mean, I don't know how you coordinate that. I know it's different schedules, but I think so important that, we're trying to get the whole street clean, and, a flood doesn't know which is county, which is city. And I know that you guys know that, but my only thing on this one, would it be possible to have it, in like a community center and not necessarily at City Hall? Is that something that we could look at? I think we would get more people. I think it'd be better use of our time if that's possible.
We could certainly change the venue if that's what council directs us to do.
Would you guys be okay if looking at it, having it in a community center instead of here at City Hall?
I don't care where it's at.
Because it's not like it's not a meeting that we all have to attend. It's whoever's available that wants to attend. I just feel like it's good sometimes to get outside of City Hall to have these meetings.
I would encourage people to go out in the community at all times and meet in the community. I can't be there, so it doesn't affect my calendar one way or another because I'm already booked up. Member Stokel?
I'm fine with that. I don't know from a staff perspective, are you guys setting up any microphones or is that all okay?
We can handle logistics. Normally we hold those type meetings here, but
Okay.
it's not an issue. We can find another venue here pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We haven't even started advertising really, so.
Okay.
We
No,
can
and I
change
think
it.
that's a good point because I do feel like, it feels less formal and more people can kind of engage in that conversation.
And a possible more to the north area where the flooding was. I mean, I know that like we had the last.
I was thinking maybe the senior center.
Yeah, that would be great. I think that would be great. And then
Sure, I can get that. Not a problem.
if you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
City Manager, anything else in your report?
No, sir, that concludes my report.
Has this gone out on social media already? I think it has, hasn't it? Because my wife mentioned that she saw it, so that's my only concern now after thinking about it. I remember the conversation we had, like, I think 2 nights ago or last night, that, so if it has already been advertised, like, on social media, we might need to keep it where it is to prevent confusion, but we'll kind of let staff let us know what they want to do. All right. City Attorney?
Yes, briefly. First, I want to formally introduce to us all our new Assistant City Attorney, David Melito, who's, stand up, David. we're very excited to have him. He's hit the ground running, and we're super, super excited to have the help for sure, and his vigor in wanting to do local government. Thanks. The second item on my report is a formal request from council to approve the settlement agreement and the pending litigation titled Liston versus City of Titusville, and authorize the defense counsel, risk manager, who's present here, Mark, and the city manager to, or designee to execute the necessary settlement agreement on this case.
Thank you very much. City Clerk?
We have one card, Stan Johnston.
Stan Johnson, I think this is the first time I've been able to speak about our new, a wonderful, beautiful, with foofy hair, new treasure. I mean, she's got just about everything, but of course the question is, what's the question? Can she cook? Can she cook? I don't know. Okay, anyhow, it was a joke. Anyhow, but my concern is in the legal staff is what we had. We had Richard Broom and Chelsea Farrell, and Mr. Broom was very much involved in the $70,000 fraud in 2019, and he approved something that was saying it was
Mr. Johnson, stay on
dishonest.
topic.
So, in other words, so I'm talking about I hope that we don't train our new attorneys to be dishonest and not represent the people. So that's what I'm hoping that will happen. So that's the main thing I'm looking for is let's don't have it happen again like it had with the last two. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
Move to approve the settlement of the claim in the case of Liston versus City of Titusville, and authorize the defense counsel, risk manager, city manager, or designee to execute the settlement documents.
Second.
I have a motion, and I have a second. Any further discussion from this board? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I heard, in the back of my mind, I heard her say ordinance, so I was just like, hold on. No, when she was talking about execute the ordinance or something. No, I'm not talking about that. Member Scoser, are you making a motion to adjourn?
No, can I just say something? Attorney Treasurer, on this one, I just want to give you a big thanks because you saved the city a lot of money. And I don't have all the specifics, but we thank you very much for your diligence and for pushing and representing the city well. So thank you.
Can we say she's earned her keep for years? For years. And you don't have to
All right.
cook.
I'm sorry I didn't hear.
You did not need to.
You didn't want to. Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
If I may, I'm sorry, I just wanted to thank you for thanking me, but I also wanted to just extend the kudos to Mark, who also did a lot of the hard work prior to me getting here, and really, it was a shared team event for sure.
Thanks. Thank you.